The horrifying discovery of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas's decomposed body was only the beginning of a story that has spiraled into something far more disturbing than anyone imagined. Investigators are now uncovering allegations that point to David Anthony Burke, the rising R&B star known as D4vd, being involved in predatory behavior that extends far beyond a single victim. Authorities digging into his online history are finding details that are deeply unsettling, painting a picture of a pattern stretching back years. What makes this even more chilling is that 3 more young women have now stepped forward with accounts that echo each other in terrifying ways, exposing methods of manipulation that will leave you shaken. But before we get into their testimonies, it's important to understand how Burke's entire system of targeting and grooming operated, because what has come to light about his tactics is unlike anything authorities have seen before. Later, we'll also look at the disturbing ties between Burke's unreleased lyrics and the crime scene itself, evidence that investigators believe proves this crime wasn't random, but carefully premeditated. And we'll uncover the story of a teacher who tried to sound the alarm months before Celeste vanished. Warnings that tragically went unheeded. But first, let's look at what police discovered inside Burke's Hollywood Hills residence during a search that completely changed the trajectory of this investigation. On September 18th, LAPD executed a search warrant at Burke's home. Officers expected to seize the usual: computers, phones, and hard drives, but according to sources close to the case, what they uncovered went far beyond digital devices. They stumbled upon evidence that redefined everything they thought they knew. What began as the shocking discovery of a teenager's body in an abandoned Tesla Cybertruck has spiraled into a nightmare that has shattered Burke's career and thrust the entire music industry under scrutiny. The unraveling happened fast. Burke, only 19 years old, once hailed as one of R&B's most promising voices, has seen his world fall apart in a matter of weeks. His record label, Interscope, froze all marketing and promotions. His tours across the US and Europe were abruptly cancelled. The Grammy Museum pulled his appearance. Fashion partners like Hollister and Crocs immediately scrubbed him from campaigns. His brand, once carefully cultivated, collapsed almost overnight. But while the headlines focused on the implosion of his career, investigators were quietly piecing together something far more disturbing. Mainstream outlets haven't fully reported it yet, but 3 new young women have told authorities stories of being manipulated by Burke in ways that point to years of systemic predation. These revelations were serious enough to draw in the FBI, who have now joined forces with LAPD. The picture emerging is one of an organized predator whose reach extended far deeper than previously believed. To understand the magnitude, we need to revisit Celeste's story. In April 2024, 13-year-old Celeste Rivas first disappeared from her family home in Lake Elsinore, California. She was last seen wearing Hello Kitty sandals. A month later, she briefly returned, but by May, she was gone again. Her brother later revealed that on the day she vanished for the last time, she had gone out to meet David Burke to watch a movie. She never came back. On September 8, 2024, the day after Celeste should have celebrated her 15th birthday, workers at a Hollywood towing yard reported a foul stench coming from an abandoned Tesla Cybertruck with Texas plates. The vehicle was traced back to Burke. Inside its front trunk, investigators made a gruesome discovery: Celeste's remains, dismembered and so badly decomposed that forensic testing was required for identification. The coroner's office determined she had been dead for some time. But here's the chilling detail investigators have not made public. The dismemberment wasn't random. The manner in which her body had been cut apart bore uncanny similarities to imagery found in Burke's unreleased music and online posts. This wasn't just murder. It looked like a grotesque attempt to turn violence into art. While investigators pieced together this crime, 3 other young women came forward. Their accounts reveal a systematic pattern stretching back to 2022. The first, a girl we'll call Sarah, was 14 when Burke first contacted her through Discord. He used his growing fame as bait, promising introductions to celebrities and dangling the idea of belonging to his exclusive inner circle. At first, she said, he made her feel chosen, unique. But soon, the requests escalated into explicit demands. When Sarah's mother discovered the messages, she tried to alert local police, but was told no crime had occurred since there was no physical contact. A disturbing loophole allowed Burke to continue. The second account, from 16-year-old Jessica, reveals even more concerning behavior. She attended one of Burke's Houston concerts in early 2023 and was selected for what he called a special VIP experience. This wasn't part of any official tour package. Jessica recalls being invited, along with 2 other young fans, to Burke's hotel room after the show. There, he gave them questionnaires, claiming it was for a fan database. But the questions were deeply personal, asking about family life, relationships, and whether they had ever felt like running away. Authorities now believe this was a strategy to identify vulnerable individuals. Soon after, Jessica began receiving expensive gifts with no return address, items meant to build emotional dependence. When her mother started asking questions, Jessica finally revealed the ongoing contact with Burke. These stories allowed the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit to create a disturbing profile. They now suspect Burke may have approached or influenced dozens of young fans across multiple states, making this one of the most serious cases involving a celebrity in recent years. When investigators searched Burke's Hollywood Hills home, what they discovered was even more troubling. Burke had kept detailed files on hundreds of fans, photos, private notes, and psychological observations. Even more alarming, evidence suggests he wasn't acting alone. Data showed he was sharing this information with others, pointing to a possible wider network. One victim's story may reveal how far this network reached and who else could be involved. Allegations from a third victim implicate others within the music industry. Investigators found that several record labels had been warned about Burke's behavior as early as 2022. Rather than report it, executives attempted to manage the situation internally. In one case, Interscope Records received a detailed complaint from a concerned parent, including screenshots and proof of expensive gifts sent to her daughter. Instead of contacting authorities, executives hired a firm to manage the public image. Internal emails revealed the mindset. In November 2022, one executive described the concerns as manageable, while another instructed the legal team to prepare confidentiality agreements and settlements. It seemed the priority was protecting profits rather than addressing the risks to young fans. The most troubling connection comes from Universal Music Group. One of the victims, a 15-year-old named Madison, was the daughter of a senior vice president. She met Burke at a music industry event in December 2022. According to her statement, Burke used the situation to gain personal and confidential information about the company. What started as inappropriate contact turned into corporate exploitation. That executive is now on administrative leave, pending investigation. Not everyone ignored the signs. One middle school teacher, James Morrison, noticed troubling patterns months before a girl named Celeste went missing. He filed formal reports with both his school and local law enforcement in March 2024, warning about Burke's online activity. His concerns were dismissed due to the lack of physical evidence. When he followed up with a federal task force, his warnings were acknowledged, but no action was taken, until it was too late. What investigators later found in Burke's recording studio confirmed intentional planning. They discovered blueprints of his home, maps with marked locations, and notes that suggested a detailed timeline. They also found images of vehicle compartments with annotations. Most shocking of all was a voice memo, where Burke spoke about the perfect crime and how someone in the public eye could make someone vanish without a trace. The FBI now classifies Burke as a highly organized and methodical offender, believed to have been active for at least 4 years. They say his methods combined emotional manipulation, financial influence, and strategic planning, tools rarely seen in similar cases. The list of charges is extensive: trafficking, conspiracy, and organized criminal activity. If convicted, Burke faces a potential life sentence. But more than that, this case highlights the failures of an entire system, one that prioritized commercial success over the safety of its audience. With the investigation ongoing, the FBI has launched a nationwide tip line and is urging anyone with information to come forward. Psychologists analyzing the case say it could reshape how we think about fame, influence, and accountability in the entertainment world.